All right, we'll call the annual meeting of the Hudson School District to order. I'm Jamie Johnson, Board President. Joining me are other fellow board members, Bob Bauman, Vice President. Bob, raise your hand. All right.
Cast of thousands.
Kate Garza, Clerk. Molly Powers, Treasurer. Member Rob Brown. Member Lynn Robson. And Member Megan Rosowski. All right. Thank you, everyone. At this time, let's see, Nick, you want to introduce yourself and Bonnie, and then you get our annual meeting going.
Yes, Nick Olette, Superintendent of the Hudson School District. To my left, your right is Bonnie Stegman, our CFO, COO for the district. She'll be presenting to the district financial overview. So at this time, I will we need to elect a chairperson for the annual meeting. And so with that being said, I would open up the floor to any nominations for a chairperson for the annual meeting.
I'd like to nominate Jamie Johnson.
Okay, we have a nomination a second. I'll do a second call for nominations for election of the chairperson. And I'll do a third and final call for nominations for election of the chairperson for the annual meeting. All right, with hearing just the one, I'm going to go ahead and close nominations. All votes at the annual meeting are done by a voice vote, and it includes folks in the crowd that are electors of the school district. To be an elector of the school district, you must reside within the school district boundaries. So, all those in favor of electing Jamie Johnson, the chairperson for the annual meeting, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. All right, looks like the ayes have it. And Jamie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Very good. Well, actually, Nick, I'll turn it right back to you because one year I forgot to do this, and that is the Hudson School District highlights. And there have been so many this year that it would be my most egregious mistake to neglect it this year. So back to you.
Absolutely. So I will work through the highlights, and these are online as well. And so people can, if you have questions, you can always stop me, but I'm going to kind of hit through these. Lots of great pictures of our kids doing lots of great things. If we go to the next slide, what you'll see is our mission, vision, values on our strategic plan. This thing that's significant about this slide is our strategic plan is coming to an end with this school year. We're going to be wrapping this strategic plan up, and we're also starting in October. We're going to be utilizing the feedback that we got from our community conversation to draft a new strategic plan for 25 to 2030. And so we'll be taking some of the items related to this strategic plan that we would continue to move forward, but we'll also be looking at that feedback we got from the community through our community conversation in April. So really looking forward to that conversation. If we go to the next slide, not going to read through all of these different pieces, but part of our strategic plan and strategic initiatives have our values and our value statements. As you can see, these are also posted on the district's website. And there's two slides. So just talking a little bit about our district in the summer of 2024. So it'll be the next slide, I believe. Yep, perfect. Just because school is out for summer doesn't mean that we aren't working with kids. We had over 700 students involved in our summer school K-5 classes. We had 104 incoming kindergarten students that participated in the Intro to K class. Our middle school had over 500 students participating in summer school. And we had 50 students that received additional extended school year services that were part of our special education program through our student services department. When you look at continued work over the summer, we had over 800 students that were involved in our summer swim program. That's been a program that's been around for a very long time. It's very popular in our community. Over 400 students involved in our school-age care programming, where we're providing child care for school-age kids throughout the summer. We have a Raider Elite program, which is strength and conditioning training for middle school and high school students, with over 475 students participating in that. Our marching band runs different camps over the summer with almost 90 students in that camp, and our middle school had almost 200 students involved in music camps as well. As far as our district achievements, our district exceeds expectations on the state report card, and we are in the top 10% of highest performing school districts in the state as it relates to student achievement. The middle school has really made tremendous strides over the last year and a half, and we've seen tremendous increases in our FastBridge scores and forward exam results at the middle school. Our high school became a AP gold level honor roll. We offer 20 different advanced placement classes at the high school and 11 Project Lead the Way courses. So these are college level courses that we're offering for high school students. We also do dual credit courses in our partnership with both UW River Falls and Northwood Technical College that help us with some of our career and technical area courses. We had over 300 students this last year participate in our dual enrollment tech ed classes, which is great, where kids are getting credits towards technical degrees through Northwood Tech, but right here on our campus. We have a virtual academy that was started and has been very successful with over 250 students participating in our virtual academy this past year. And we also have an on-the-job training opportunities with almost 200 students at the high school participating in on-the-job training opportunities and internships throughout this past school year. When we look at the class of 2025, that's the current senior class, 100% of those kids that were on track to graduate received admission offers from our Direct Admit Wisconsin. This is the first year we've had that program where we partnered with the UW system in, I believe, 11 of the 14 UW schools. And students, our systems kind of talk with their systems, and they're able to get automatic admittance if they meet the admittance requirements to the state universities. And so really a great opportunity there and a lot of kids getting those letters. We had over 700 students at our high school that took advanced placement test with over 1,100 exams taken, which is a 5-year high in both of those areas. We had 17 students that have passed their ASE certifications. This is a certification in the auto industry. You'll see mechanics and you'll see commercials, ASE certified mechanics and things along those lines. We've started that first step here at the high school so they can leave our high school and go right into the workforce with credentials. We had over 65% of the students, the 200 students that completed Project Lead the Way engineering pathway qualified for the college credit program as it leads to that. When we look at our student activities, we had over 100 seniors that were inducted into the National Honor Society with almost over 4,200 hours of volunteer service. We had 9 middle school students named to the All-State Choir and Band, middle level All-State Choir and Band. And then we had the middle school state competitors in math counts, future problem solvers. We've had the Hudson High School state competitors in speech, in debate, and science Olympiad. Our high school national competitors in FFA and Quiz Bowl. We've had high school international competitors in DECA and HOSA. And, you know, we had, as it looks at our fine arts, we had over 140 cast and crew members involved in our fine arts productions, both in the spring and the fall this last year. So really a lot of things going on activity-wise across the district. When we look at our athletics and our achievements related to our kids, we had the Raid Airs were state champions in the area of kick. It's our dance team. Boys swimming had an individual state champion with Andrew Hansen, and we had wrestling with an individual state champion with Liam Neitzel. We had state qualifiers for the girls golf, boys cross country, cheer and stunt, Raid Airs, baseball, and boys golf. We were conference champs in boys soccer, girls swim and dive, boys swim and dive, girls golf, football, boys track and field, and baseball. So really dominating a lot of the activities and a lot of the athletics and just showing that our kids are getting done not just in the classroom, but also out in the gyms and on the stages and on the athletic field. So really a great situation there. When you look at our staff, we have 439 certified staff members and 318 support staff. This year we welcomed 48 new certified staff members and 41 new support staff members. And we also welcomed 3 administrators. A lot of times people don't realize that we have almost 800 full-time employees in the district. I think last year we issued almost 1,100 or 1,200 W-2s, and so even with a lot of part-time employees. So the district's quite bigger than just a teacher in a classroom. There's a lot of people working behind the scenes to make sure that kids get what they need as we move forward. I think it's interesting is that our IT department assisted with the repair of over 1,400 Chromebooks. As you know, we're one-to-one at the secondary level. They also installed 170 new smart projectors and smart boards. We replaced over 350 elementary Chromebooks as we try to make sure that kids have the technology they need to stay current in the expectations. We have over 2,800 help test tickets, and so when you think about it, people don't always realize that as a school district, we have an IT department, and we have an HR department, and a business department, and we have food service, and we have cleaning services, and we do childcare, and we do transportation. We do all of these different things. It's not just teaching, and there's a lot of things that have to happen just right to make sure that that child has a positive experience in that classroom, whatever classroom that may be. When you look at, we partnered with Chartwell's this last year, serving over 400,000 school lunches this past year and over 100,000 breakfasts. And in Safeway, our bus company that we utilize, drove over 750,000 miles delivering our kids on their routes every day. 3,100 students out of our about 5,400 students in the district take transportation through the district every single day, and that's not even totaling the activity buses and the field trip buses and all the other things that we have going on. In our community, we have great partnerships with our community. We celebrated our 3rd annual Celebration of Nations and had over 700 attendees. As part of that, you can see a picture off to the right there. In partnership with our community, we've hosted our special education friendship games, where we've hosted other school districts that have come and kids have gotten to compete. We have the Chamber of Commerce Spring Expo, the Hudson Hot Air Fair, the Pepperfest food preparation at North Hudson Elementary. We hosted the U.S. PCA K9 dog training trials. I believe that was at Rivercrest Elementary this past year. So hosting both national events, local events to make sure that we are getting it all done. We also, in our community, we have a senior tech club. And this has tremendous turnout. This is hosted by our IT department in conjunction with kids, some of our students from National Honor Society, where they work with senior citizens to help them utilize their devices, understand cyber threats, cyber security as it relates to their own home and devices and things along those lines. We also collaborated. We had over 135 student teachers / field placements or aspiring teacher placements in our district this past year. So lots of aspiring teachers coming and looking and getting their training through the Hudson School District. One thing that's not on here, and I wanted to mention because I talked about it before, is we rent our facilities to the community pretty regularly. And we are pretty wide open with that. We rented our facilities for 193,000 hours last year. So community groups utilized the facilities for 193,000 hours in the 23-24 school year, which is great because as we know, these are community facilities. They're paid for by tax dollars, and so the opportunity to get community members in is great. The last slide I have, and I'm not going to steal Molly's thunder because I know she's going to talk more in depth about the referendum, is just we do have our referendum coming up on November 5th. It is an operational referendum. Both Bonnie and Molly will touch on more of the details of that. But what I do want to highlight is we will be having an informational meeting next Monday in the Fishbowl here at the high school, and then again at Hudson Prairie Elementary on the 30th. October 9th, we're going to be doing one following the Senior Tech Club at the high school on October 9th, and then another one at Hudson Prairie Elementary on the 21st of October. And so opportunities for people to be able to come, find out about our referendum, ask questions. We just want to encourage people to get out and vote on November 5th because it is important that people exercise that right. So those, I believe, are the district highlights for the 23-24 school year. And I'm going to
Any questions for Nick? All right, hearing none, then I'll turn it over to our board treasurer, Molly Powers, to give the district financial overview.
Thank you, Mr. President. Excuse me, and thank you, Dr. Ouellette, for all that encouraging news. My name is Molly Powers, and I am the board treasurer of the Hudson School Board. As a school board, one of our responsibilities is oversight of school finances and working to ensure that our students, staff, and families have the resources to be successful. Let's remind ourselves of our district mission statement. We are dedicated to developing caring and contributing community members. We are collectively committed to providing a rigorous student-centered environment to ensure equitable experiences for all students. Your tax dollars are hard at work aligning to this mission statement in educating children in our school district. From building maintenance, nutrition services, and providing safe playgrounds to keeping and retaining excellent staff, our finance department works diligently to ensure that the Hudson School District provides an excellent value to its students, staff, parents, and taxpayers. Bonnie Stegman, our Chief Financial and Operations Officer, will soon deliver more detail about the proposed 2024-2025 budget for the Hudson School District. I want to share a few thoughts about school financing and our school district in a way that might be helpful for understanding. Wisconsin school financing is complicated. Funding comes from many sources, including local property taxes, state funds, and federal funds. In a school district like ours, with a large property valuation and declining enrollment, we do not benefit as much as other school districts do in state funding. About 61% of our budget comes from local property taxes. 10 years ago, 47% of our budget came from local property taxes. As you can see, over the past 10 years, a significant portion of the tax burden has been transferred directly onto property owners. In addition, since 2009, school district revenue limits have not adjusted for inflation. Increases in teachers' salaries, heating and cooling costs, maintenance, curriculum, and so on are only covered through cuts in other areas of the budget. As you might know, we are also facing declining enrollment, which directly impacts our budget. Fewer students means fewer dollars, but not necessarily fewer staff or buildings. We are not alone in facing declining enrollment. 69% of the school districts in Wisconsin experienced enrollment decline in the last 10 years. The school board hears what the community has requested to maintain a financially lean school district. With that in mind, the school district has listed the district office for sale with plans to move district offices to the Hudson Middle School. We have an accepted offer with a local residential home builder for the district-owned acreage on Highway UU. In addition, in the past 2 years, the school district has realized nearly $2 million in savings from unfilled positions, attrition, retirements, and reductions in the number of classrooms while maintaining small class sizes and programming. As a school board, we want you, the local taxpayer, to feel confident about the investments we are making as a community in the future and that your tax dollars are being used well. As a school board, we have ongoing discussions about the budget and financial considerations. We spend time working to attract and retain the amazing staff that we have. We discuss how to continue to use our budget to support successful learning for all students. And as a board, we are looking many years into the future, asking ourselves how to keep Hudson School District on a strong foundation for future students. As a community, we will need to continue to make difficult decisions about the financial needs of our school district. To maintain the Hudson School District's high level of learning and excellence, the school board took action in August to put an operational referendum question on the November 5th ballot. This referendum question will ask taxpayers to exceed the revenue cap by $5 million on a recurring basis to pay Hudson School District operation, maintenance, and staffing costs. Without this additional revenue, our district's financial choices will become much more painful and difficult. We will face a significant budget shortfall that will result in cuts across the budget, including staff cuts, reduced programming, and increasing class sizes. As an example of what reduced programming could look like, fewer course offerings, fewer sports, and other extracurriculars for students, larger class sizes in our grade schools with fewer specials like art, music, and Phi-Ed. With the budget projection showing a $6.9 million deficit 4 years out from today, the district will not be able to cut costs without directly impacting the educational and extracurricular offerings for our students. This is why we have taken action to place an operational referendum on the November ballot. In closing, I hope that as taxpayers and parents, you are proud of the excellent outcomes we are achieving and our continuous improvement efforts, as well as the way we are managing our financial resources. Thank you for your continued support of the students and staff of the Hudson School District. I am pleased to support the recommended budget of 2024-2025.
All right, thank you, Molly. Any questions for Molly regarding that financial overview? All right, hearing and seeing none, we'll continue on to the presentation of the proposed 24-25 budget by our Chief Financial and Operations Officer, Bonnie Stegman. Bonnie?
Thank you. So I just wanted to commend, the board has been working on this budget for the last 5 to 6 months. So this is kind of a culmination of a lot of hard work and a lot of hard decisions that they've had to make. But the main factors currently facing the district is the revenue limit. The state did allocate an increase of $325 per pupil, but over time that has not kept up with the consumer price index. Declining enrollment, the district continues to see a rolling 3-year average of declining enrollment that directly affects the revenue limit calculation. Student services and student learning continue to evaluate programming to ensure that all student instructional needs are met. The retention and recruitment of staff continues to be a challenge for the district. Human Resources and the Communication Department have done an outstanding job of recruiting staff through the customization of marketing for specific positions, implementation of retention bonuses, and the approval of competitive staff compensation packages for all of our district employment categories. The district has also continued its commitment to maintain class sizes within established ranges. So although we have a lot of hard factors facing us, the district has always put students first in their decisions. This slide kind of presents a breakdown of the proposed budget. Our revenues, we are projecting a 0.32% increase from the 23-24 adopted budget. The main funding source of district revenue continues to be local sources, specifically the tax levy, which is projected to be 63%. The next largest source of revenue is state equalization aid. And as Molly indicated, 10 years ago, 60% of the revenue in the district came from the state, and now we're down to 47%. So that's a direct shift onto the taxpayers of our district due to the funding formula. Highlights of our revenue changes, we anticipate an increase in projected interest earnings from our budget from the 23-24 school year. We are anticipating an increase in an open enrollment in students. We've had a reduction in the transfer from Fund 10 to 27 for special education due to attrition of staff and some retirements. And the shift of revenue from state equalization into local property taxes is continuing. And this would be a breakdown of our expenses for the 24-25 school year. The expenses increased about 1% from last school year. The main portion of Fund 10 operating budget is designated for salary and fringe at 66%. The remaining large expense categories are purchase services, which is mainly transportation, independent contractors, and the transfer for special education. These were highlighted, but again, staffing reductions for this upcoming school year, almost $1 million, $988,000. We did expend all of our ESSER spending that was allocated to the school district. And even with all those changes, the district is projecting a deficit of $500,000 for the 24-25 school year. Based on community feedback, the district is reducing their district footprint. The district office property has been placed for sale with a plan to move staff in designated spaces at Hudson Middle School, by the fall of 2025. And the school board has also accepted an offer on the 91 acres on the UU property. The combination is projected to add approximately $4.5 million to taxable property for the school district community. Even with budget reductions and the sale of district properties, the district is projecting operational budget deficits. Over the last year, the district has utilized the Baird financial projection model to provide the school board budget projections for the next 5 years. Based on district assumptions for wage, benefit, and other district expenses, student enrollment, as well as the state's funding formula, the annual projected deficits progressively increase and are listed. So these are annual deficits that, if we are not able to pass a referendum, we'll be facing. Based on the projection model, the school board adopted a resolution to go to a $5 million annual operating referendum. This resolution will be on the ballot for the November election. The tax impact for this operational referendum will be $4 annually on a $100,000 equalized property value home. And based on a $500,000 property value, would be $20 annually. In addition to the operational referendum, we wanted to give you an update on our capital referendum that was approved April 4th, 2023. Bray Architects and Market Johnsons have been selected as a team to manage the projects. Work commenced at North Hudson Elementary just recently. And again, the groundbreaking ceremony is tomorrow night. Initial work at EP Rock Elementary and Hudson Middle School is scheduled to start in January of 2025. And the district office plan move to Hudson Middle School by the fall of 2025. Completion of all projects is scheduled to be complete for the start of the 25-26 school year. We did get some great news. The district continues to see large increases in new construction property value. New construction directly increases the tax base to support local tax levy. This year, the district is projecting over $112 million of new construction property value. And this is a breakdown for each townships in the district. Including new construction, the district is projecting 7.19%, or approximately $489 million increase in equalized property value. The projected state average increase is estimated at 7.69%, so we are right at that state average. But it is pretty impressive to see that the value of the property in the district is over $7 billion. The mill rate that we are projecting for the 24-25 school year is estimated to stay level at 8.24. And this was just a comparison of mill rates of how in our CISA 11 we compare with our partners in that CISA. This is based on the 23-24 school year. So we will be asking that the following resolution be approved to set the levy for the 24-25 school year. That's it.
This is the time now for a hearing on the proposed budget. So at this time, anyone who wants to make a statement or ask a question of Bonnie or Nick or address it to the board, they can. Just want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to speak regarding the budget. It does have to pertain to the budget itself. There will be a time later in the meeting for other annual meeting powers. We have a person ready to speak. Go ahead. Say your name.
My name is Celeste Caldwell, and I live in the town of Hudson.
Okay. Get the mic might need to be turned on. No, no.
Can you turn it on for, please,
manual switch.
Tim?
I wish we had clappers on those so we could just clap and then they
All right,
turn.
there you go. Okay, hi, my name is Celeste Caldwell. I live in the town of Hudson. My husband and I have been property owners there for 31 years. I want to thank the board for going back and and the school administrators for going back and taking a good hard look at the budget. I think that you've come up with a very reasonable proposal. And I appreciate the work that you have done to come up with this, and I would urge everyone here to support it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Appreciate that. Anyone else? Second call for any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the budget as proposed for the 24-25 school year. This also includes board members, although you had your opportunity to ask at the regular meeting that we had. By the way, we did have unanimous support for the budget among the board at our meeting prior to this annual meeting. But is there anyone else? I'll make a third call for any comments or questions regarding the budget. Yes.
Just a open question.
Well, could you state your name?
Sorry, Ingrid Blair,
Yes,
City of Hudson.
thank you.
I'd like an open question to school board members. Just tell me, in light of this new budget, what are you most concerned about going forward that may have had to be reduced, given the situation, even with the referendum? Assuming you get the referendum proposed. Still, what could be possible concerns or things that aren't being addressed in the budget?
Mr. President,
Yes, Rob, you want to take that?
if I may. And so just speaking for myself, given the conversations we've had over time and continue to have, not just over the last several months, but over the last several years, since I joined the board in 2015, we've lost more than 1,000 students. And so the ongoing concern is, well, twofold. One, we continue to lose students, not because they're leaving the school district, but rather our senior classes, which are larger, are greater than the size of our kindergarten classes coming in by a significant amount. Furthermore, the average cost of a home in Hudson is approximately $500,000. And so these younger families coming into our community, hoping to live here and take advantage of a wonderful community, wonderful school district, simply can't afford to be here. And so the ongoing concern for myself, and I believe others on this board, would be the average cost of a home and the continuing loss of rather the smaller kindergarten class sizes compared to our larger graduating classes. When we, and it's been quite a while, I believe it was the last just prior to the last referendum, we asked the public for support, specifically our community leaders, our city, village, town hall leaders, to help find ways of bringing the cost of homes down so that we can have those families with young children come into our community. And I think as a group, we continue to ask our city leaders, village leaders for that support. So that's my 2 cents.
Anyone else want to tackle that?
Yes, Mr.
Bob?
President. Main concern for me is to just the fear of not being able to provide the same educational experiences that my family, my children had coming into Hudson in their educational journey here. Yes, affordable housing, troubling, funding, a problem, but I didn't, run for school board to give a lesser product than my children experienced. So, got to keep moving forward.
Mr. President,
Yes.
for me, one of the factors, and I echo what my fellow board members say, but with a budget constraint, I worry about our ability to attract and retain quality educators. Obviously, that directly impacts the service we can deliver to our community and the education we provide to our students. So for me, that's one of the ones that I'm concerned about.
Mr. President,
Kate?
I would echo what everybody has said. I guess Hudson School District has some of the most amazing offerings I've seen in a high school, both when I was growing up and today. And so I'd hate to see any of those going away, particularly things we've started adding, the mechanical offerings or CNA, different things that we're getting kids ready for the workforce. I would hate to see any of that diminishing.
Anyone else? All right, I want to thank you for your question, and I do want to say, this is my 12th time being up here for these annual meetings, and I don't know that anyone's ever asked the board that. So thank you for doing that. And what you see are a group of people before you that we definitely want to continue the reputation that Hudson has for excellence. We want to be able to provide, and I think we do provide, the best education we can possibly do with what we can afford. And that's when you say what concerns you in the future is we don't have control over enrollment. To a very indirect degree, we can attract people from other school districts, but that has its limits, open enrollment. And we don't have control over the value of homes or the decisions made by people in their 20s and early 30s to have larger families. That would make me very happy if we had that, because that would fill up our schools that way. But we'll continue to make hard decisions, but at the core, we want to be able to retain and attract and retain, I guess if that's the order, the quality teachers we have. And we will do that to the degree we can. There are districts that are even worse off as far as that percentage on reliance on property tax. I think of some of the school districts that have a lot of lakefront property, cabins with maybe lower enrollment, but lots of property, so they are even higher on their property tax. But that's the direction that Hudson has gone. When you look at this looks like 25-year, 26-year history of district valuation. I came to the district in 1990, so that's like 9 years before this chart even starts. But it starts at a valuation of $1.2 billion, and we had the Great Recession, so you can see where it went down for about 5 years before it came back to what it was pre-recession. And then it's just taken off since COVID, and it's now $7.3 billion, which is great on the one end because we have a lot of property, but because of the way schools are funded, they see us as a property-rich district, and so we've seen significant loss of state aid. And we've been pleading with our legislators to come to our school board meetings, listen to us, and they've put up blue ribbon task forces to try and come up with new ways to fund schools. We haven't seen anything actually proposed. We're hopeful that that is looked at, and then maybe we can sustain that reputation we have. But just echoing the great comments made by the other board members, so I agree with those. Any other comments, questions, or concerns? We have a good turnout when I know the names of almost everybody that's here that's not an employee. Well, I know the employee names too, but go ahead, Carrie. Carrie.
Hi, my name is Carrie Rice from the City of Hudson. I want to speak to state financing and state aid. We've seen the trend lines. You're speaking to it today. The only idea that I've seen proposed out there to somehow address this funding shortage is by an incumbent here, Shannon Zimmerman, who suggested in a recent interview with you, Jamie, that the answer is school consolidation, that we need to have conversations with other schools and look at consolidating districts. So my question to this group is, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, or whether or not there have been any active discussions with surrounding school districts. I think a lot of parents and residents here might be a little surprised by that notion, but I'd like to know if that's any active dialogue with the surrounding community.
Well, I guess, we're in a CISA with, was it 66 other schools, Nick, something like that?
Yep.
And
39.
39, okay, it's smaller than that, but still, it's a large district geographically, it goes way up. Hudson is by far the largest school district, with, I guess, Eau Claire being the exception. Eau Claire is about twice the size we are. But with those large districts, there's not many smaller districts looking to consolidate with us. I think that Representative Zimmerman might have been talking to consolidation of more rural districts, which, they already try to share services to the degree they can. It becomes a very big political issue. Our superintendent comes from a district where there was actually 4 communities, right?
Yes.
And you dealt with 2 different school boards.
Correct.
And so that may be a way for us overall to be able to improve, first of all, offerings to those rural districts, but also try to maintain what we have here in Hudson. So I don't know if anyone else wants to add to that, but it's just not something, we haven't been approached by anyone in that regard. All right? But thank you for your question. Anything else with regard to the hearing? Otherwise, I've made 3 calls for information. We're going once, going twice. Raise your hand if you want to speak. Seeing none, we will now move on to agenda item of adoption of the proposed levy. And again, we're just adopting a levy in a total dollar figure. Is that right, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, the board will adopt the levy they have to adopt once they get the final numbers from the state. So this is somewhat of a process that's left over from pre-revenue limits.
So it's not just a mill rate that we're setting tonight, but rather dollar figures for 3 separate funds: the general fund, debt service, and community service.
And remember, you're not totally setting it because the board still is required by law to set the levies at whatever it is. They need to set them in October once the final numbers come out. So,
Right.
yeah, I just want to make sure that people understand it could change slightly once we get our final numbers from DPI.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd like to make the motion. Be it resolved that a tax in the amount of $60,031,566, $46,447,068 from the general fund, $13,159,498 in debt service, and $425,000 in the community service fund. Be and is hereby levied against the taxable property in the Hudson School District for school purposes.
Second.
All right, motion by Megan, second by Lynn.
Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn. All right, any further discussion at this time regarding the motion? Going once, going twice, raise your hand. Third time, then I'm going to call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the proposed levy is approved by the public here at the annual meeting. As the superintendent emphasized twice in a row, this is just a statutory vote that we have to take at an annual meeting, but again, circumstances can change, and we have seen that happen, haven't we, Bonnie, between now and that 3rd week of October. So for the public's viewpoint, if you do want to know what the actual levy that gets adopted, that would happen at our special meeting, which is set for the 4th Monday of October. All right? Very good. Then now for the new business portion of the annual meeting, we need to set the next annual meeting, which will be in 2025.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to set the date for the 2025 annual meeting for Monday, September 8th, night year 2025 at 6:30 p.m.
All right. So a slight change from past history, but we've had a precedent today where we had a 53-minute break in between the annual meeting, so this will shorten up. And obviously, that 6:30 p.m. start is what we put in our minutes, and then it's what gets advertised. And so if we do get in a situation where we're still meeting at our regular board meeting, that is always the 2nd Monday of September, then there will be an adjournment of the regular meeting, and then we resume after the annual meeting's done. That we have done once since you've been with us, right, Nick? Yep. So evidently that year we just couldn't run an efficient meeting or something was wrong. But anyway, too many people talking or something. But anyway, we have a motion for 6:30. Was there a second?
Second.
Second by Bob. Any further discussion about the time? All right. With that, then I will call the question. All those in favor of setting the 2025 annual meeting for September 8th at 6:30 signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. And the next meeting will be at 6:30 on September 8th. It'll be interesting to see if we have any big backlash to that early meeting time, but no one's ever complained before. And again, so with that, the last part of new business is any other annual meeting powers can be brought up. Again, like I have for the others, I will call 3 times for this. So that was my first call. And now a second call for any other annual meeting powers. That is also a part of the agenda we have exercised once in the last 9 years. But there's a handful of procedures that can be done at an annual meeting. This is the time that that could be brought up. Any others? I'll make a third call now for any other items to be brought up here at the annual meeting. Hearing none, then we'll move on. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Lynn, second by Molly. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned until 2025 annual meeting. All right.